What's up, everybody? Celtic Scarecrow here, back with our video to get those 10s and 20 views. Today we are talking about the Carolina Panthers. Should they move? And if so, where to? Yes, I know I use a very clickbait title and a very clickbait thumbnail, but the clicks are good. So basically there has been a proposal, which I want to say is being voted on this month, of whether or not the Carolina Panthers will get a $80 million renovation to the team stadium, aka Bank of America Stadium. Now, why is this newsworthy? No, David Tepper is one of the world's wealthiest men, according to a post, and if he wants to drop $80 million on renovations, why doesn't he? Well, no. Just like this post actually says, report one of the world's wealthiest men, Panthers owner David Tepper, and the city of Charlotte have proposed an $80 million renovation to the team's stadium paid by taxes, etc. How so they can keep the new thing. Tables have marked over $20 billion. Well, the only issue really with that is a simple thing of David Tepper does not own the stadium. The city of Charlotte owns the stadium. So any and all updates, renovations has to be approved by the city. Like, he just can't say, "Hey guys, I'm gonna build a brand new stadium in the same location. Thanks, have a nice day." No. Granted, if he owned the stadium, yes, I'd be 100% saying that's on David Tepper. But the Carolina Panthers are one of four teams who don't own their stadiums. Those other teams being the Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots, and the Washington Redskins. We all know the Washington Redskins stadium. Granted, this is an old article that pulled that from so the Commanders, but we know the Washington Stadium is a complete disaster, and they need to tear it down and rebuild. As for the other two stadiums, Hard Rock last got an upgrade renovation was in I think 2017, and the New England Stadium got upgraded in 2022. So they just got upgraded. Now, why is this relevant? Well, the team's like, well, we need to improve seating so we can get better seats in the building, improve the lighting through the corridors so it's safer for people to move throughout the stadium, uh, healthier and more hygienic bathrooms, and like we want to put a nice big billboard thing on the outside so people can see better and improve, environmental damages on city infrastructure through modernization of building systems. Basically, make the stadium more eco-friendly for the city of Charlotte, which all sounds very good. And Bank of America Stadium is host to the Carolina Panthers Charlotte Football Club Duke's Mayo Bowl and Duke's Mayo Classic. So two sports teams and two college things. And I want to say they might be hosting a World Cup game. I'm not sure. Unfortunately, one of the renovations to the stadium is, not grass. I don't know why we can't get grass fields, but that's on that. So basically, the Carolina Panthers and the city of Charlotte are almost in the same exact situation that the San Diego Chargers, now LA Chargers, were facing. The city owned the stadium, so the city had all the rights to change stuff. And it's like, hey, we want to make changes. Well, we're paying for it. We get money based off it. Therefore, we say no. And it turns into a giant game of chicken of who's going to crack first. And it's not going to be David Tepper. The Rock Hill fiasco is proof of that, when he literally stopped construction because the city's portion of the money wasn't coming through. Or at least that's my understanding of that. Sorry. Now, where could Carolina go? Well, like I said, with this whole thing, I really see three or four couple options. One, Carolina also, I want to say the Panthers' um, lease to play there is almost up. I am not 100% sure on that. It's one of those things I've heard. I am not 100% sure. Let's see. I'm trying to. I have the Wikipedia page up and see if there's something about that.
A few moments later.
Yeah, I couldn't find nothing to see if that was actually right or not on whether or not the Panthers had a lead. So, but let's just say, is it option one is a giant game of chicken. The city says no, we're not. We do not want to agree and give you this money to build a stadium. And Tepper's like, all right, well, we can't upgrade. I'm going to refuse to upgrade the stadium. It's going to stay put. And the city's like, well, you have to. And it's like, no. Option B, the Panthers move. Now, that would be where would they move to? Now, I did put in my thumbnail a few locations that, in theory, makes sense. Two makes sense more than one. The first one I pointed out was St. Louis. They had a football team, which would be extra ironic if the Panthers moved to St. Louis because my dad is a Rams fan and he was an LA Rams fan. Then they moved to St. Louis. Now they're back in LA and I'm a Panthers fan and we moved to St. Louis. Would be kind of, pretty funny. I put that one as the, I hate to say it, but it's one of those weird least likely, most likely type places. Like, would the NFL want to try a third time in the same city? I know hockey wants to do that with Atlanta, but, that's a different argument. But yeah, so St. Louis already has stadium, all that, fans want a team. Other two options I did point out would have been Memphis. They have the Grizzlies. It's in the South. It would keep them kind of relatively close geographically to the other teams in the area. Like they would be closer to Atlanta. They're not that much farther from, they're on a map. They're only slightly farther from Atlanta. Tampa's just kind of a weird location. And the last city I pointed out was Oklahoma City. Because, they have the Thunder. And it still technically would be in the South, but those would be the three cities I could see the Panthers moving if they move out of the Carolinas. I think there's a third option that makes way more sense for David Tepper and the Carolina Panthers that people aren't thinking about. Because the team, as my sweatshirt says, is the Carolina Panthers, not the Charlotte Panthers. And based off that thought process, I have a few other cities that make way more sense to move the Panthers to than St. Louis, Memphis, and OKC. Because being the Carolina Panthers, we can move to any city or location in North or South Carolina. All right, so example, this is what I'm saying. These are the teams I've said. If you're in, I don't know which half the state or what, because I am not smart like that. Thinking of the Carolina Panthers, if they stay in North Carolina, can move to Raleigh, whatever, however you pronounce it down there. It is exactly where the Carolina Hurricanes play. They would put two sports teams in the same area. It keeps the team. All these hats will keep the same effect that you can literally just keep the team name and colors. Everything could pretty much stay the same there. Maybe slightly if you move to South Carolina. But yeah, Raleigh is the state capital. It is where the Carolina Hurricanes do play. And I'm not sure much about the city, but that would keep the team there. Another great spot that I looked at when I just literally pulled up a map of North Carolina is a town called Burlington, which according to the map, as I'm trying to zoom in, is literally kind of in between. It's in like the middle of the state where you can easily get to Greensboro, Riley, and realistically not that far from Charlotte. It's a good middle spot to like, hey, we can not be in one of these major cities, but be close enough that we can easily still draw from those major cities. And here's the thing that a lot of people don't think about. They could easily move to South Carolina and still be just as effective. You have, if I'm looking at my map correctly, like the big cities there would be somewhere like Greensville, which I have nothing about, so sorry, Greensville, but you were one of the bigger names. That's really not that far from Charlotte. Like, it looks like you're on Route 26, so you can kind of get there. Another simple location would be Columbus, which is the capital of South Carolina. We know they have a die-hard football fan base. I'm pretty sure that's where South Carolina University is located. And a dark horse option in the whole thing would be Charleston, South Carolina, which would be kind of a unique feature. Granted, would have to definitely be wary of, hurricanes. But then again, when you have a sports team called the Carolina Hurricanes, you're expecting it. But that would give you a lot of beach goers, the sun, all that fun stuff. To my opinion, I don't think the Panthers are moving. I really don't want Carolina to move because I think Charlotte is actually the best location for the Panthers. Because you can easily have a training facility in South Carolina. I think they saw something that the Panthers are moving their headquarters to South Carolina. Okay, yeah. Nope, I lied. I did not see that. But yeah, you can still have like your training facility and a lot of stuff in South Carolina and be in North Carolina. So you represent both Carolinas. But if Charlotte doesn't want the Carolina Panthers to they want Tepper to pay for all the upgrades, I could see the smart choice if he were to move to keep the team in the Carolinas because he does, I think, own the soccer team for some reason. I think he does. So he can easily still manage both. He actually would then technically get everything he wants. Yeah, he owns the soccer team. He would get to build his brand new stadium, which may or may not, probably would have like a retractable roof if he's smart. Then he would keep all the revenue for it because it would be his stadium, not the city's. Charlotte would still have use for the Bank of America Stadium, which I think I saw they renewed the licensing agreement to that name. But that's it. That's all I have. If Carolina were to move, which I don't want them to, where would I think the best option would be? Like I said, that Burlington in North Carolina would be a good spot. It's a nice middle ground. It would be like the Jets Giants, technically Foxborough like, where you're close enough to a major city to get everybody in there. If they were to move to South Carolina, like Columbus would be the obvious choice. You go to a major capital, which has fans base. But I wouldn't mind seeing a football stadium close to the beach, like Charleston, because then earlier on this season you can say, hey, let's go to the beach and then go catch a football game. That's it. That's all I have. I will see you weird people later.